It's another edition of Boomer TV. Pulp Boutique here.
I'm Julie Patterson. We're glad you've tuned in tonight. We're going to meet the turntable guy on tonight's episode. Maybe you got some vinyl laying around. Vinyl's back.
I used to be a turntable. You used to be a turntable guy.
Well, no, I never was a turntable guy.
Lady. Yeah.
No. BOQA is on tonight's show. It's a high-intensity interval training in the water. You use a boat. Never heard of it before, I bet. Wait till you find out what that is about.
We're going back to the city market. We went underground recently. We went through the catacombs.
Right, last week.
Now we're going to just comb the surface.
Yes, the food, the gift items, what's happening outside. They do concerts and movies and all kinds of fun stuff. So stay tuned for that.
Interesting story about when things don't always work out, when divorce affects grandparents.
Well, you know what? Families are diverse and stuff happens. So if you're a grandparent and you don't get to see the little ones that you love so deeply, there are some options, and you'll learn about those options on tonight's show.
We don't want you to be too stressed, so there's also something to calm down with. We're going to meet a meditation expert.
And she can help boomers with things like pain management, just how to find a peaceful place. All of that on tonight's episode of Boomer TV.
Boomer TV is made possible with support from
Westport Homes, dedicated to building homes for every chapter of life, with plans and details that match a customer's specific needs and style. More information on Westport Homes' lifestyle collection, including community locations, at westport-home.com.
With over 70 years of combined legal experience, Altman, Poindexter, and Wyatt attorneys serve clients throughout Central Indiana with wills, trust, and estates. More information is available at apwlawyer.com.
Unique Home Solutions, serving more than 30,000 homeowners since 1983. Providing home remodeling services from minor updates to complete renovations with a mission to improve appearance and efficiency. More at uniquehomesolutions.org.
So when was the last time you went to the city market?
Yesterday.
Well, our show just went there a week ago. If you were watching last week, you've
Oh,
already
the
been.
catacombs.
Yeah, we went to the catacombs, but I guess there's a whole lot more into the city market.
Oh, so much stuff. You can get gifts. They have outdoor events. Always the food, too.
Of course, yeah. At one time, they had a barber shop there. I know, because I got a little shave there one time.
Well, Michael Atwood is going to show you what's there now, next.
Joe Perrin, here we are. This is the great granddaddy, great grandmother of farmers markets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here you're looking out at about 36 different merchants here in the city market doing everything from food to flowers.
And again, because it's the city market, it's even broader than a farmer's market.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we are open to everybody coming in here. You know, you can come, and we encourage people to come with work. We encourage people to come with a book. We encourage people to come after work to hang out. We have activations that people can do on nice days. We have bocce ball outside available, usually cornhole set up. And we try and do as much programming as we can to just provide a place for people to be together, to be in the community, to help make Indy the best city it can be.
Let's go take a look.
Let's do it.
You love to smoke meats, but I've been told that you smoke some unusual things as well.
We smoke hard-boiled eggs. We smoke some ice cream for root beer floats.
You smoke ice cream.
Yeah. We get some nice, great ice cream, and we put it in a big pan, and we just do a cold smoke on it, and it's kind of fun.
Remember, come back on Wednesdays for the smoked ice cream.
Just Cookies is the oldest vendor that we have here in the city market these days.
What do you love about making cookies?
Not just making cookies, working in the market, it is great. You make so many new friends, meet a lot of people.
I love chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip, that is the most popular.
And there's nothing plain about it, is there?
No, nothing is plain.
Now I feel bad. I'm eating in front of people.
That's all right.
One bite?
I'm good.
Now these fermented foods, it's one of those things before refrigeration. How did people preserve foods? How did they keep them healthy? This really goes way back thousands of years.
Right.
Yeah, essentially this was what people had in their root cellar or their cave so that they had food through the winter until they could start growing fresh crops again in the spring. Essentially is how this started. You know, the nice thing is that now in 2018, kind of science has caught up. We understand the magical little world of microbiotics that go on and all of these things that we didn't know existed, you know, before the 1900s, and now we've been able to improve on all of these. So we have better texture, our flavors are better, we are able to source, you know, specifically what we want to get a specific result. So it's nice.
Jeanette, the sign says the Flower Boys.
It does. It does.
I don't see any boys.
Well, someone's got to run the show. But the two boys that own the shop, their names are Jake and Jake. And they're two friends of mine from college. And so they kind of roped me into doing this. And I'm privileged to spend every day here at the city market selling flowers and arrangements and all that sort of thing. And I love having walking traffic stopping by, because sometimes when you have your own flower shop, you don't have people walking in as much. But when it's here, it's like I'm able to talk to more people and hang out with them.
So they, after they grab a cookie, they can come get a flower arrangement for the evening.
Exactly, definitely.
Ryan, you're about the newest vendor here. What are among your most popular items here?
This is home. Indiana t-shirts, those are locally made, so those are really big. Rings, a lot of rings, just jewelry, and I try to keep a good variety.
I think it's a good place for people to just come see what there is, and you never know what you might find.
Joe, some wonderful jazz behind us. What experience at the city market would be complete without hearing a little bit of music?
Yeah, it really puts the exclamation mark on the experience, I think. We're lucky to have them. We're always welcoming people wanting that want to come down and busk and perform. And then every Wednesday at the farmers market, we'll always have music performing there from about 11 to 1:30 p.m. But especially with a song like La Vie en Rose on a nice spring day like today, I think it really just highlights the experience here.
Joe Perrin, thanks so much for showing us around the city market.
Thanks for coming by.
Wonderful experience. For Boomer TV, I'm Michael Atwood.
I have a radio question for you on TV.
All right.
Now, I know I dealt with it. Did you ever deal with turntables?
Oh yeah, turntables and reel-to-reels. That's how old I am.
And they both go like,
Yeah.
and you make the same motion for
Yes.
both of them, yeah.
Paul Vinyl is back. I'm so excited about it. And if you've got an old, maybe turntable that you need to be fixed, we're going to introduce you to the turntable guy.
Okay, Ed Wank is our video jockey.
Over the last decade, vinyl records have made a huge comeback. According to Billboard magazine, over 14 million discs were sold last year. Of course, in order to hear these records, you need a turntable. You can buy one that's new or vintage, and that's where John Sheets comes in. John owns a little shop in Irvington called Affordable Hi-Fi, and his specialty is fixing old turntables. Biggest year for vinyl, 2017, since 1991. Why is it making a comeback?
I think people like records because it's something that you can hold. They like looking at the pictures on there. I like records. Not all of us gave up, you know. I like records because it slows you down. You know, you listen to music on your phone. I like that too. I do all that stuff, CDs. But records, you gotta stop, put it on, whether it's a short one with just one song or long.
Why the vintage gear as opposed to the new stuff?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm the only guy in Indianapolis who works on both new turntables and vintage turntables. Some of my customers have to have vintage stuff, and the reason is it maybe brings a memory of what they had when they were in high school or college, or what their grandparents had. Some of my customers will only buy vintage stuff. Some of my customers only want new stuff because it's just like if you buy an old car, you gotta work on it.
Right.
Whatever it takes to get them playing records.
Give me some tips on care and feeding of your vinyl records and your turntable.
The most important thing on a turntable is gonna be keep your needle clean and get a new needle. If you listen to a lot of records, which I do, I recommend you quit your job and just listen to records all day. But if you can't do that, if you listen to a lot of records, every couple of years you're going to blow through your needle.
Right.
People will spend thousands of dollars on records, and they're like, I don't know if I want to buy a new needle or not. Or at least clean it. You know, get a little brush. You go, beep, beep, get a little. Sometimes you play a record, it's got a little beard on the end of the needle and makes it all distorted. You got to get rid of that.
Gotcha. What is the most difficult turntable to work on?
Well, I don't want to badmouth any manufacturers, some of whom are out of business. There are three. Philips, which also invented the compact disc, you may
Okay,
know. Their turntables have these real weird little sensor lights, very hard to work on. And then a company called Bang & Olufsen, which I know you know about them.
Vividly.
You're owner of one. And the rest of them are all just fine and dandy.
I know you also sell at Affordable Hi-Fi. You sell some vintage amplifiers, the old solar
Yes, I
face
do.
stuff, and some old speakers.
I
and
try to, yes.
And the like that. Why do you think people like that stuff? Is it the same kind of attraction?
Oh yeah, with that, the customers for that stuff is a whole different ballgame. People collect those, particularly they want the ones that are real high wattage. They have to have wood, they have to light up, particularly blue. Blue is the right color for all those. So like Marantz and Pioneer and Techniques, all that stuff. And people love it, and they all need a little bit of work. You know, they're getting to be old like me, and they need to have a little bit of work done on them too.
John Sheets, Affordable Hi-Fi. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
No problem, Ed.
All right.
Pleasure. Welcome to my basement. Thanks for coming by. Come by anytime.
I'm Ed Wank for Boomer TV.
Have you ever noticed how diverse families can be these days?
A lot of different generations running around, and
Right.
different, sometimes
Backgrounds.
blended families.
Right.
Yeah.
All that kind of
and
stuff.
then grandparents
Are a part of the family
get
always.
into the mix. A very important part of the family.
You know what? I think so too, but it's not always about what's important. It should always be what's important about the child. So when you have families that maybe there's divorce in the family, maybe some grandparents aren't allowed to see their children. What do you do? Well, you've got some options, and we're going to introduce you to those options, and we hope that they help you in your situation.
We're here at Altman, Poindexter, and Wyatt with Scott Wyatt.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome. We're here to talk about grandparents' visitation rights. Scott, now I know many of our viewers have probably a lot of questions. I find this a very topical conversation. Could you explain to me what grandparent visitation rights are to set this up?
This statute allows grandparents in certain situations to petition the court and ask the court to be able to have a court-ordered visitation schedule with their grandchildren.
Is this something that's unique to Indiana, and could you give me a little bit of background on the law?
First of all, it's not unique to Indiana. Other states have similar laws. As a matter of fact, the United States Supreme Court even had a case in 2000 that talked about the importance of grandparent visitation rights and how those rights work against a parent's right to determine how they're going to raise their children. So other states have similar laws. The United States Supreme Court even has been involved in trying to figure out these issues. And Indiana has had a statute in place since 1982.
Under this law, do the parents of the grandchildren, would they have to be married, or can they be single parents? Are there restrictions in that regards in order for the grandparent to have their rights?
Not every set of grandparents can petition for visitation rights. For example, if the parents of the grandchild are married, then the grandparents under the law would not have what we call standing. That is the ability to file a petition asking for visitation rights. The only time that a grandparent can petition for grandparent visitation rights is if, well, first of all, the parents of the grandchild or the grandchildren are divorced. If one of the parents is deceased and that deceased parents, those are the ones who are asking for visitation rights. And then also if the children or the child was born out of wedlock and father has established paternity over that child. In those circumstances, then a grandparent can petition the court and ask for visitation rights.
Can any grandparent file?
Unfortunately, no. The law only allows grandparents to file if they qualify for certain situations. For example, if you're a grandparent and the grandchildren's parents are still married, under the law, the grandparents unfortunately cannot file. They don't have what we call standing, the legal right to bring the action. However, if the parents are divorced, or if the parents had a child out of wedlock and dad actually established paternity over the child, or if one of the parents is deceased and the grandparent who's asking for visitation is the parent of the deceased parent, then under those circumstances, a grandparent would have the ability to file a petition for grandparent visitation under that act.
Scott, are there any obstacles that grandparents need to be able to overcome in order to get their visitation?
The biggest obstacle in a grandparent visitation case is the grandparents overcoming the presumption that a parent is acting in a child's best interest. The court's going to presume that a denial of grandparent visitation by the parents is in the children's best interest unless the grandparents can go in and demonstrate to the court that that presumption should be overcome, that in reality it is in the best interest of the grandchildren to have contact with their grandparents. So that's why it's critical, once again, that they go talk to an attorney to help them through that process.
Well, very good. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. I'm Kevin Kimbrough with Boomer TV.
So who likes to do a workout in the water? You know, water aerobics, any of that kind of stuff. Ooh, Paul, you work out in the water ever?
Just when I start sweating.
Oh, that's funny.
So a lot of times, yeah, I guess I am kind of working out in the water.
There is this cool new workout called Bokwa.
Bokwa?
Bokwa, and you use a boke. It's a piece of equipment, and the person who invented this, we're going to introduce you to tonight. This kind of a workout, it's like HIIT. It's like the high intensity interval training in the water. Where do you see it? I want to introduce you to Tom Ford. He is the inventor, creator, entrepreneur of Bokwa.
That is correct.
What is Bokwa? Well, he's going to tell you.
Bokwa basically is body aquatics. It's basically, I've taken sports and put it to an exercise program in the water.
Now, you have a background in sports.
I do.
What is your degree?
My degree is in exercise physiology, exercise science, and I spent 16 years as a certified athletic trainer.
And you worked with the Pacers, with Butler.
I've worked with Pacers, Butler. I actually did an internship with Philadelphia, and that actually what started me off in water.
And from there, you've obviously enjoyed a continuation of that. And
in one form or another, yeah. And so I created this. Bokwa came to mind about 4 years ago. And so again, just playing with different sports, boxing, running, tennis, baseball, and just kind of put it all together and had a device that another company made. And so that's what kind of gave me the idea. So I started playing with it and then realized they didn't make that piece of equipment anymore. And I wanted to change it. And so that's how I came up with Bokes, is after 3 years of testing, I finally came up with one that works the way I want it to.
It's my understanding to do Bokwa, it's like a high-intensity interval training in the water?
Correct. That's exactly right. That's couldn't have said it better. That's exactly right. And so it's the way I do it is I do it by timing. So it's 35 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute long of different combinations. And so like anything else, you get out of it what you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to work hard, you can. If you don't want to work hard, you don't have to. But the harder you work against the water, the harder it works against you. And with holding the Bokes in your hand, it increases that intensity that much more.
And there's resistance. And
there's the resistance in every direction you move. You can move your hand, and it really gets the core in your legs because you got to support that weight as you're pulling it through the water. And you don't fight flotation.
Wow. So it covers all the major muscle groups.
All the major muscle groups through a full range of motion. And so it's very hard to get hurt because the way I coach into it, I'm very much about form, about posture, correct mechanics, and so it's very hard to get hurt. I mean, you get hurt anywhere.
Right.
But if you fall in the water, the only thing that happens is you get wet.
That's right.
And for some women, that's not a good thing, because I actually have a lot of women that are like, I can't get my hair wet. You're in the water. So you have a lot of fun with that.
Okay, so you use two.
You used to.
So show me how you hold these,
okay,
the
so
Bokes.
you grab one.
Okay.
You grab one. I'll
I'm
grab the
assuming
other.
like this. Okay,
I mean,
cool.
so basically, that's your basic position this way.
Basic grip,
And so
yeah.
as you're pushing forward and backwards, you have resistance this way.
Yeah,
if you're
you
going
would.
side to side, you've got the flanges here.
Yeah, I see that.
Now, if you bring your hand over, angle it a little bit, you've got all this water that you can come up, you can go down. So you get it forwards or backwards. So no matter how you move your hand, you're getting resistance.
Well, you probably have all ages in your groups.
I do.
but how can this benefit baby boomers?
Well, as much as I designed it for everybody, baby boomers have gravitated toward it for a lot of the reasons we just talked about. Easy on the joints, it's low impact, it's fun, it's something that they can do, but it's not poo-poo. It's not, they're actually doing something and they like being active, because for an hour, I keep you going for an hour. So once we stop until the last 5 minutes, which is a cool down, they're constantly going. And because I do so many different things, they don't pay attention to the time. And so when it's over, they're like, oh my gosh, it's done already? So that's kind of why I've coined the fastest hour in fitness.
We're with Tom Ford. I hope you learned something about BOQA. I'm Julie Patterson with Boomer TV.
Julie, stand back. We're about to go to a peaceful place.
Oh, good.
I see a bright light just off in the
Peace
distance.
be with you.
Do you see it? And also with you. Now, this is the peaceful place in your mind that you achieve through meditation. A moment of meditation, as we used to say on TV way back in the day.
Well, Krista Anderson is an expert at meditation, and one of her specialties is helping baby boomers use meditation for things like pain management or just to go to a peaceful place, right?
Glenn Bill has the story.
Our feelings create our experience. Our mental health is physical health. That's the premise of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Hi, this is Glenn Bill, and I'm here with Krista Anderson talking about meditation. If you could maybe give us the definition of meditation and some of the great benefits that come from meditation.
Meditation, for me, a quick definition is it's getting comfortable with yourself so that you're more comfortable with your own life and therefore more comfortable with all your relationships. The benefits of meditation far outweigh any fear people have about approaching it. 3 that I can think of off the top of my head are meditation allows you to be more emotionally sober. I know that's kind of a funky term, but what that means is you're able to be less reactive to life. You're less reactive to pain. You're less reactive to the surprises that life throws us. Another one, it allows you to be more comfortable with any kind of depression or anxiety. It allows you to be more creative. A lot of people at this age manage arthritis and the pain that comes with that. And there's a cliche of pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Meditation allows you to suffer less with arthritis. You can get up and go about your day more effectively, more comfortably.
Sure, and pain management is a big
Absolutely.
topic of today's boomers.
Yes.
So when we talk about those 3 great benefits, we also know that there's a lot of misinformation and myths about meditation. Could you maybe share with us some of the misinformation myths that are being created out there about what you do with people?
That's a funny question because I get that a lot with people saying, oh, it makes me more anxious, or I don't have time to do that. And those kind of jumble together for me because it doesn't make people more anxious. I liken meditation to cleaning out a closet. When you start that process, you're like, I have a lot of junk in here. You know, it's the same thing with junky thoughts.
Right.
And so when you sit with yourself, you're thinking, oh, I got to get up and distract myself. When you meditate and you're self-reflective, you have to sit with yourself. But just like cleaning out a closet, when you start to organize, you're like, oh, I don't really need all of that stuff. So the same thing happens with meditation. You get more comfortable, you clean out your mind, akin to cleaning out your closet.
I think the message here is, you know what, you just have to start.
Absolutely.
And that means taking action. So what's the number one way, or what's the number one solution that our watchers can do when it comes to, hey, what's the step I can take to start meditation?
One of the easiest ways to start, and I've done this with a lot of my clients, is to say, hey, just set a timer for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and just sit there. Just sit. Do nothing. Don't talk to anyone. Don't watch TV. Don't read a book. Do not do a crossword puzzle. Sit with yourself for 5 or 10 minutes. A little caveat there is people say, well, I don't have time. I'm like, then do it for 30.
I love it. And boy, I'm sure that would be hard for a lot of our viewers.
It can be, but it works. It does work.
I guess lastly, what I'd want to know is if people are looking, besides you, is there other places that they can find how to begin meditation, classes or whatever?
Yeah, very simply, you can Google YouTube. There are great guided meditations on YouTube that you can find. My favorite free app is called Insight Timer. And the cool thing about that app is you can see the people around the world that are meditating with you, and you can say thank you. And gratitude is a big piece of meditation as well. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you, Krista Anderson, for giving us all the answers that we need to know about meditation. This is Glenn Bill with Boomer TV.
We've done it again, Julie Patterson.
Well, we didn't, but all the people, all of our great reporters did such a wonderful job. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight.
Turns out it does take a village to put on this program. And thank you for watching it.
Yeah, and I've got some new material. Thank you to James, who supplies my fresh material
You've
each
got
week.
so many writers, yeah.
I just have one. All you need is one good one. Okay, so if seagulls fly over the sea, what flies over the bay? Bagels! Okay, how do trees get on the internet? They log on.
I can see that coming. Yeah. I saw that coming up Meridian Street.
I hope you got a laugh. I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned something tonight on Boomer TV. We thank you for watching us. We'll be here again next Tuesday night, 7:30, WFYI. Have a good night.
Now we leave you. For more all things Boomer, just visit our website. That's indieboomer.com. Indie Boomer connects TV, magazine, and radio. It contains useful information for baby boomers all over the Indianapolis metropolitan area. And you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Pick up Indie Boomer magazine at most Kroger stores and libraries. Look for us all over Indy.
Listen to Boomer Radio every Saturday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. on Freedom 95 with a rebroadcast Sundays at 7:30. Indie Boomer, for the next chapter of your life.
Boomer TV is made possible with support from
Westport Homes, dedicated to building homes for every chapter of life, with plans and details that match a customer's specific needs and style. More information on Westport Homes' lifestyle collection, including community locations, at westport-home.com.
With over 70 years of combined legal experience, Altman, Poindexter, and Wyatt attorneys serve clients throughout Central Indiana with wills, trust, and estates. More information is available at apwlawyer.com.
Unique Home Solutions, serving more than 30,000 homeowners since 1983. Providing home remodeling services from minor updates to complete renovations with a mission to improve appearance and efficiency. More at uniquehomesolutions.org.